thinking about imposter syndrome, right? Sticking with what you know makes you feel more comfortable, but that keeps you stuck where you were. That keeps you stuck in this place. And like, if you're in a great place, you feel like you're growing and you're strong and you're happy. Yeah, there's no fear there, right? There's no reason to move forward necessarily. But if you can be more, if you can be better, you can be stronger, you can move forward, you can be more confident, you can be happier, you can be all these things, then the fear, that imposter syndrome, that I want to say it how you said it, Tiff, because I liked it. The subconscious fear of not being enough, right? I really like that phrasing because it is subconscious. We're not, well, sometimes, right? Sometimes you absolutely know if you're the person that's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. They're going to look at me when I do it. I can't. Like, some people are just like that. And if that's how you feel, I get it. That's not a place that we want you to be. But it's still like, that's just what it is. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. It's kind of understandable. Like, the reaction that you will have and the way that you act when you feel that way. If you feel unsure, if you feel scared, if you feel nervous, if you feel like this is going to be a problem, I know that I won't be successful, then there's no way for you to be successful. Like, you really got to luck. And then there's the other part of this that you will actively, smart, intelligent, successful people will absolutely convince themselves that it was luck. And again, don't get me wrong. There is some luck. There is some like right place, right time. You know the right person. You were introduced to the right person. Even if it is based on your smarts, right? You're so smart. Yeah, but I feel like you're smart because you are intelligent in a capacity that I understand or that I can appreciate, right? So it's still a matter of who you talk to, how you talk to them. However, it's not luck if you've worked through this, right? It's not just luck if you've tried so hard and you focused and you put in the time, you put in the energy. That's not luck. That is the proof of your works. And it is hard to like have the faith in yourself. Like, especially if you grew up religious, or, if you're an energy person, whatever it is, if you have this belief in something else, it is a lot harder to see yourself in the same way. Right. But if you are more, if you are more aware of who you are and you did learn, right? Like your autonomy, you felt like you had some strengths, a strength, an ability, whatever it is, right? Thank you. Oh, thank you. Right. If you know you had those strengths and you see that, then it's easier for you to use those building blocks in your own attitude, right? In your own life, in your own mindset. Like, you can say like, oh, well, I know I'm smart. I know I'll figure this out. Right. And the problem I think we have is that as we get older, right? Like, and this is what happens with school. We do this general thing. We do all these classes. And then as you get older, you get into like very more specific things, right? And then obviously if you go into college, grad school, all that stuff, you focus on something specifically. Now, what happens is that, especially because like my clients, right? My clients are all these like super successful business women. They have great jobs. They have great incomes. They have this, they have that. They're beautiful. They're intelligent. They have families. And then they're still just like, but I don't know what to do with my body. And I'm like, well, come on, let's talk about it. And we do it and we work on it and people feel so much better. But the thing is that you're like, I'm so intelligent. I've got this capacity. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. I've learned, I've trained it. And like, so you feel this, like, it's all hyped up that you should have these things. And then you come to any other place and you don't. And you like fall apart because of that. And it's like, no. Let's pull it back in. We don't have to be that upset about it. We don't have to be that hard on ourselves, right? We don't have to do that in order to actually make growth, right? If anything, being so hard on yourself is what's holding you back from making the growth. So you got to just chill out a little bit and you have to accept the steps as they move forward. I heard a sound like not too long ago that was like, you're always going to feel like an imposter on the first day. Right? Or when you first start something new, you're always going to feel like an imposter. You're always going to feel like you're faking it. Why? Because you're faking it. It started today. It started this week. It just started. You just got into it. You haven't completed a task as this role as of yet. So yeah, you faking it till you make it, and that's cool. You're gonna be all right, but you actually have to try. You actually have to grow and try to be better. That's the difference. Like when people fake it till they make it and then fall off, right? That's because they was faking it and they were not trying to grow and they were not trying to get better. But if you're actually doing it, you're actually putting the work, why not? Why not trust yourself? Why not go for it? And I do say it very flippantly. Why not? Right? Maybe you're not there. That's fine. You don't actually have to be there. This is part of the reason why I do what I do, right? Like why I do yoga based on body confidence based from yoga, and like I help women learn themselves and learn how their bodies work and feel more confident in the things and the choices and decisions that they make, and understanding their own bodies better so that they can work at an optimal place, right? This is what wellness and confidence coaching is all about, especially in my house, right? So I wanted to get to some of the questions and comments. Oh no, did it do it again? Okay. There were questions in my Instagram. So basically in my Instagram story, I definitely asked, right? So the question is, I can open here. Technology. Right. So the question in my Instagram story was, do you feel like you are held back by your decision-making process? Like, are you concerned with how people view you, how people see you, with moving forward? Are you using that to hold you back, right? Are you using your fear? Are you using your imposter syndrome, right? Which is not really how I worded it in the question, but like, are you using your fear of what could come to hold you back from what's really happening? So I had one person respond here. Well, I just have a yes, and a yes. A yes, and a yes. Yes, I let myself get held back by fear of moving forward. Right? That's, if you know it, then you know it. There's no other thing to say about it. However, that means that this is the time to do something about it. If you know that this is what holds you back, you're like, I'm just afraid to move forward. I've done it. I've proven to myself that I can do it. But yes, I'm scared. Right? This is also when I say you need some support. Find some support. Maybe this is just a friend, right? Like, I am not telling you that you always need to go find a specialist in something. Maybe just go find a friend. Talk about it. Your friends are probably going through this too in another way. Another response. I'm going to take some of the responses here. You're right. I need to change my mindset. It's all about mindset, right? The way we see things is a huge factor of everything. Your energy is beautiful. Thank you, darling. And we think, like, humans around the world think of the universe. So if you think like you're just thinking, honestly, I would take that as, correct me and get me right. But I feel like we take things too seriously a lot of the time, where we are basically telling ourselves that the world revolves around us. Everything is, it's so important that I make sure that I do this right because I have to. And if I do it wrong, my entire world will fall apart. Will it? I don't think so. Like, I don't think it's that real. I don't think it's that harsh. And like, when you have higher anxiety, when you have chemical imbalances, when you don't treat your body right in the first place, right? So your hormones are all wrong, then your brain will just say stuff. Okay. This is another thing that I talk to people about all the time, right? I do not push a certain diet down your throat. However, only mentally and spiritually, right? What are you taking in emotionally? What are you taking in and allowing to bring yourself down? That's just not what we want. We don't want to be held back by such things. The next response says, I just hate that I'm so scared to move on. And that's the thing too. Like if we feel stuck in our circumstance, I talked about this, I want to say last week, maybe the week before, right? Go back on my IGTV or on my YouTube channel. And I talked about this before. Your circumstance, if you feel victim to your circumstance, if you just feel stuck, you're just going to hate everything that's going on. You will not be happy. It'll be harder for you to grow. And you might grow and still be successful. I am not saying that you won't be successful, that you can't achieve the thing that you wanted to achieve. But let me tell you how you're not going to love it. You could achieve that. It's a thing that could happen. And then you're still not going to like it. You're still going to be upset with it. Your body goals that you were trying to reach, if you hate yourself the whole time, you finally push through, you're still not going to like it or appreciate it or any of that stuff. That was when I was talking about that. Right? So we were talking about body goals and the things we're expecting. If you allow yourself to stay stuck, will you be happy? No. If you allow yourself to think of all the things that could go wrong in this next step you're about to take, will you be happier? No. But we do this. We do this to ourselves all the time. We allow ourselves to feel this and think this and actually allow it to hold us back. And so I wanted to talk about just some of the things that we can do to kind of navigate around this. And I still want everybody that is watching to drop your comments, drop your suggestions, drop your thoughts. I am always trying to share the knowledge, not just keep it to myself. And then if you have something, I want you to be able to share it with all of us. We're a team. So when it comes to navigating around your imposter syndrome, your fear of moving forward, right? I think very simple, old school pro and con list. What's the pros and cons of staying where I am? And what's the possible pros and cons of moving forward? Right? A lot of times, if you are a literal person, an analytical person, a numbers person, right? You're a person that went into finance or whatever, look at the list, right? If you've got the list and you can see the checks and balances, take that. That's a real thing. That is a reasonable way to look at things. I would maybe have somebody else also look at your list so you're not just telling yourself lies. Because that's the thing. You can make up a bunch of good stuff and you can make up a bunch of bad stuff because you're scared. So have somebody else to check that for you. But really, like, make a list, check. Is this going to be good for me? How do I think this will be bad for me? What happens? And really actually analyze what it is you're afraid of. If you're just afraid of it being different, there's a lot of value in moving forward. If you are clear about what the problem is and you have an issue and there really isn't a thing, then okay, no, that's not the solution to where you are right now, but still you don't want to stay stuck. So what's the solution, right? Because a lot of times when we evaluate those things too, because this is what I talk about with my clients, right? We'll go one by one. What is happening here? What is holding you back? What is stressing you? How can we actually move forward? Is it just fear or is it action? Is it just fear or is it actually like something we need to be concerned about? How can we navigate that now? We're often looking at the wrong problem, allowing it to be a stopping point. List. Very simple. Try to put it down. Maybe it's on paper. Maybe it's in your phone. Like, people are always thinking like, oh, but I don't have a book. Or I don't have this. Maybe it's in your journal. It's in a book. You've got it. You look back at it. You add to it. Great. Maybe it's in your phone. And every now and again, you're like, oh, shoot. Yeah, no. When I start questioning this, I need to look at this list. Fine. Do it. Another way to do this is, as annoying as it is, so one of my projects that I do with people is your resume for life, right? So it's a resume, and like when we update our resumes, and like if you've gotten a new job in the past like 5 years, you know this, right? Like you update your resume, you make it sound nice, you put all the things on it, you say what you can do, and then like, all right, sometimes you lie. Like, I'm not saying you should lie necessarily for real, especially to yourself, right? But you do play it up. You are allowed to be so good on paper. Why can't you be good in real life, boo? That's all I'm saying. I want to help that. I want to help you find that space. if you go through this process and you actually think it out, you type it out, you write it down, you see it on paper, your name, beautiful, all these things that you have accomplished and done and seen and experienced and made better and grown through and trained for, all this stuff. You've got all this stuff that you did. And somehow we still tell ourselves that we can't move forward. We can't. Once you see it as a block, as a real thing, right? Evaluating what your real life experience is, that growth, that movement forward can really happen, can really make a change for you. And then I always say, like, one, I'll say a therapist, a conversation with a therapist, a conversation with a coach, a conversation can put you in the right direction. I know for a lot of coaches like me, that first conversation is free, right? So you can have that conversation without it costing you a whole bunch of money. If you are fortunate in this country to have insurance that will cover mental health care, go to a therapist, talk to them. And try to just have the conversation to have an evaluation. This does not mean that you now have to sign up for 30 years and $30,000 of this service. I don't know why we feel that way necessarily. Like, if I start, then it's going to cost me this. Whether that's time, money, effort, emotion, whatever, right? Like, it's just a start. What if you start and it makes you amazing, right? And that's kind of the last thing I have here. Understanding your fear. So that is the biggest part of this. That I feel like is honestly the most beneficial if you actually take that into consideration, right? All the parts of it into consideration. What are you actually fearful of? Why are you stopping yourself? It is not the idea that you could one day be something else, because you've had those dreams since you were like 3, right? It is not necessarily that fear. It is the fear of, it's a FOF, fear of failing or fear of flying. So we have a lot of us, which I know that was one of the responses. Like I said, I'm not going to go back to everything because it didn't pop up here. I always have a plan and they just mess with my plan. Anyway, right. When you have a fear of change, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It doesn't matter if it's a positive or negative change. It doesn't matter if you could really grow and benefit from this. You're still scared, which makes it almost impossible to benefit from. It's almost impossible to fully experience, almost impossible to, right? That is when the luck also comes in as a factor, and your natural talent and ability. That fear, the fear of just being so successful that you have to continue and keep up that effort. What? That is a real fear as well. And the thing is that we, again, will have this fear of flying, right? This fear of doing well. And then not really, again, give ourselves the credit. Yeah. Not give ourselves the credit for actually doing all the work to end up where we were. I did all this work to end up here. Why do I think all of a sudden the floor is going to fall out from under my feet? Why? Why would I? Why should I? There's no reason for me to be so afraid of that unless I plan to stop right now, right? And you know what's funny about that? Hold on. Real quick story that I'm going to leave everybody's name out of. There are people in your life that will have these stories, these relationship stories. Do you know the person, and I'm sure you know, think about your friends, right? The person in the relationship that everything was good, everything was fine, it was cool. And then, like, I know it because my friends are women and I'm a woman, right? Where that guy just like falls off. Everything was good. He was doing this. He was putting in the effort. He was showing up. He was dressing like this. He was buying dinners and dates and dresses and whatever and flowers, right? All of that stuff was happening. And then he fell off in some way, right? Maybe it's just this was a love bomb. He fell off the face of the earth. Or if this was a relationship, he felt like, okay, I got it locked down. So I eased up, right? Whatever it is, gave up, right? And then what happened? The relationship fell apart. And even if she stayed with him, unfortunately, the relationship still fell apart. Right? And feel free to apply this story to any circumstance, any situation, like, no, my man and his boyfriend, whatever. I don't care. That's the story. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? If you put in this situation, if you set yourself up for a situation where you are putting in the work and you're putting in the work and you're putting in the work, the only thing that will be a real problem is if you stop. If you stop putting in that work, then yeah. But if it's what you've already been doing, there is no reason to be fearful to move forward because you could already do it. If you are just saying to yourself, like, okay, I need to have a deeper conversation about this. I need to talk more about this with Seisha. Go to my website, book a call right at the top. Because I would love to talk to you. I like talking these things through with people. Also, I'm going to put this up on my YouTube and my IGTV, so feel free to go back and look through. If you're just getting here, welcome. Run it back for some quick imposter syndrome conversation. But if you have tips, if you have experiences you want to share, if you have information, or just, a resource, right? I really want you to share that. This is a community conversation. Okay. If there aren't any other questions, no questions. All righty, my loves, then I'm going to go. Have a great night. I love you greatly. I'll see you guys soon.